In this lecture, we'll see n-gram language models. So here we are going to discuss about probabilistic language modeling, and we'll just review the probability theory, the chain rule of probability, and what do you mean by Markov assumption, unigram, bigram, and n-grams. And we'll be mostly talking about bigrams, and it's very easy to generalize bigram into trigrams, 4 grams, 5 grams, etc. And we'll see examples for bigram probabilities, how to estimate bigram probabilities, and some of the practical issues and examples. So probabilistic language modeling is nothing but assigning a probability to a sentence. So you can ask why we require to assign a probability to a sentence, or the what is the need of assigning a probability to a sentence. For example, let's say you are doing machine translation application. Probability of high winds tonight, and there can be the same statement can be translated as you let's say you are translating some language to English. So the language the statement you have got, the options you have got are high winds tonight and large winds tonight. So in this case, what we'll do is we'll construct the probability of the first statement, high winds tonight, and we'll construct the second statement of probability of the second statement, large winds tonight. Then you can see, you can take the statement with the large highest probability. So you should get it as probability of, for at least for English language, you should get it as probability of high winds tonight should be greater than probability of large winds tonight. Another example is in the case of spelling correction. Let's say you are correcting the spelling of some statement, and the statement you have got is the office is about 15 minutes from your from my house. So you can see that the probability of 15 minutes is greater than the probability of 15 minutes. So you can use this probability as for spelling correction also. You can use it for speech recognition also. Let's say you have got speech, I saw a van, and because of the accent, your machine has translated it as I saw a van. Then it should be such that the probability of this should be greater than the first, second statement. So assigning a probability to a sentence is having great role in language modeling. So that's what probabilistic language modeling. Probabilistic language modeling can be you can thought of many examples in summarizations, question answering, and in all the applications you can see that probabilistic language model has a great role. So the goal is to compute the probability of a sentence or a sequence of words. So you have a sentence, and that sentence is a sequence of words. So you would like to find out the probability of a sequence of words. So mathematically you can write it as probability of W equal to probability of W1, W2, etc. Wn, where W1 is the first word, W2 is the second word, and so on. A related task is probability of an upcoming word. Probability of an upcoming word is probability of W5 given W1, W2, W3, etc. So what is the probability that W5 is the next word given 1, 2, 3, 4 are the words in sequence. So these two are the same actually, these two problems are the same. So probability of a sentence or a sequence of words, or probability of an upcoming word given a sequence of words. A model that computes either of these, that is probability of W1, W2, etc. Wn, or probability of W5 given W1, W2, W3, etc. Wn, W4, etc. is called a language model. So a model that computes the probability of a sequence of words or a probability of an upcoming word is called a language model. Usually this is called in language technology, this is called grammar, but in NLP we call it the language model. For example, compute the joint probability of its water is so transparent. How we do it? We do it by the chain rule of probability. That is probability of A given B is calculated as probability of A comma B divided by probability of B, right? So recall that the definition of conditional probability of A given B is probability of A comma B divided by probability of B. So what is probability of A comma B? Probability of A given B into probability of B. So this is about two variables. What about if you have multiple variables? Multiple variables, probability of A comma B comma C comma D. So that is the joint probability of A, B, C, D equal to probability of A into probability of B given A into probability of C given A comma B into probability of D given A comma B comma C. So that is what the main equation in the case of the chain rule of probability. Here we have four variables. So it is the probability of the first word, the second word after the first word, third word after the first and second word, fourth word after the 1, 2, 3 words. So this is how we write the probability of a sentence. So once again, to compute the joint probability of a sentence, its water is so transparent. So this sort of a sentence, this is taken as the first word, second word, third, fourth and fifth words. Then we do it by like this. So we apply the chain rule of probability here. So the chain rule in general can be written as probability of x1, x2, etc. xn is probability of x1 into probability of x2 bar x1 into probability of x3 bar x3 bar x1 x2 xn bar x1 x2 etc. xn minus 1. Now we will come to our example. So it is probability of its water is so transparent. This sentence can be the joint probability of this sentence can be computed as probability of its into probability of its given water given its is already available, so water given its, then is given its water, probability of is given its water into probability of so given its water is into probability of transparent given its water is so. So this is how we can compute the joint probability by using the chain rule of probability. Mathematically, you can write it as probability of W1, W2, etc. Wn as a product of probability of Wi given W1, W2, etc. Wi minus 1. So a word given all the words in the sequence prior to it. So for the first word, probability of W1 into probability of W2 given W2 minus 1 W1, probability of W3 given W1, then W2, etc. So let's see how we can estimate these probabilities. So we understood that this is how we can calculate the probability. Now, is there a chance to estimate this probability? Is it possible to just count and divide like this? Let's say this is your sentence. Probability of the given the water is so transparent that. Okay. Is it possible to count all the words, all the sentences that has this combination, that is its water is so transparent that the divided by its water is so transparent that. So is it possible to count like this and divide? This is how we can estimate it. That is the followed by this sentence divided by all the sentences with this sequence. It's not possible because as we can see too many possible sentences, and we'll never see enough data to estimate these probabilities also. Our data set will not be that good to efficiently estimate these probabilities because there can be many possible sentences. And this is the case, this is the time our Markov assumption is going to help us in this. So instead of taking all the uh, probabilities or all the instead of taking all the previous statements, or sorry, all the previous words, what we say is we assume that this is called Markov assumption. Probability of the given the water is so transparent that is approximately equal to probability of that sorry the given that the given that the last only the last word. So given the present, the future can be computed without considering all the past. That is, the past is the water is so transparent. So this much amount can be, this much things can be avoided. So that is called, this is a first order Markov assumption. And in case of a second order Markov assumption, you consider only two words prior to that. That is transparent that. So second order Markov assumption and so on. So instead of using the entire entire sequence, you can use only two words or three words, etc. So first order, second order, etc. So your expression can be rewritten as probability of W1, W2, etc. Wn is probability of Wi given W1, W2, etc. Wi minus 1. Now approximating each component in the product, you can write it as Wi divided by Wi minus k to Wi minus L. We are not taking all W1 to Wi minus 1. We are just taking some I minus k to I minus L. That is a subset of this. If it is 1, we'll say it is a first order. If it is 2, we'll say it is a second order. So we are assuming, we are using some Markov assumption. We are approximating each component like this. So Wi given Wi minus k, etc. Wi minus L. So that is called Markov assumption. A simple example for Markov assumption unigram model. We generally use bigram model. Unigram model is you are not considering the next word at all. So some of the automatically generated sentence using unigram model is this. Unigram model is this: probability W1, W2, etc. Wn is approximately equal to pi I probability of Wi. Each word's probability only is used. So only this probability of this word, only the probability of this word, etc. will be used. So it's a product of all the probability of words, that's it. So some of the automatically generated sentences are fifth and of features the and incorporated, etc., etc. So this will not form a sentence at all. Why? Because we are not considering the sequence here. We are not considering the previous word, or the sequence of words will not be considered. We are just considering only the probability of that word. So that is unigram model. In a bigram model, we will use the conditional probability like this: probability of I given I minus 1, probability of W1, W2 given W1, W3 given W2, etc. That sort of this will be considered. So some of the automatically generated sentences in bigram model is Texaco rows 1 in this issue is pursuing, etc. You can see some connection here, that is pursuing, then without permission, etc. Uh, Parking lot, car parking. So this sort of connection can be there. That is the probability of Wi given Wi minus 1. So use some word that is having some highest high probability, then probability of Wi given Wi minus 1. But still these statements are not going good looking statements like outside new car parking lot of the agreement reached, etc. So these are the uh, statements generated like this, generated in the sense this statement is generated by using a bigram model where you are considering only the previous word. We can easily extend this to trigrams, 4grams, 5grams, etc. But this will not work actually, because in general this is an insufficient model of the language, as language will be having long distance relationship. Long distance relationship means, for example, consider this statement: the computer which I had just put into the machine room on the fifth floor crashed. So here, if even if you use trigram, 4 gram, 5 gram, etc., the sentence represents the computer is crashed. But here, you will say the floor crashed, fifth floor crashed, then machine room crashed, etc. If you consider 4 gram, 5 grams, etc. So instead of that, but often we can get away with n grams. So we will see how to estimate n-gram probabilities. The maximum likelihood estimate of here we are going to discuss again about how to estimate bigram probabilities. Probability of Wi given Wi minus 1 is uh, obtained using maximum likelihood is count Wi minus 1 Wi divided by W count of Wi minus 1. So you are given with a corpus. In that corpus, you count the number of Wi's minus 1, uh, Wi followed by Wi minus 1 divided by the total count of Wi minus 1. Let's take the example. So this is our data set. In natural language processing, the data set is usually called the corpus. Yes, I am Sam slashes. Yes, Sam, I am slashes. Yes, I don't like green eggs and ham slashes. So this is the corpus we have. Now we are going to identify some of the bigram probabilities. For example, probability of I given S. I followed by S. I followed by S are I followed by S1, I followed by S2, and total number of I. So count Wi minus 1 comma Wi. So this one 1 2 2 by count I. Count I is 3. So it is 2 by 3. 2 by 3 is 0.67. So for example, Sam am. Sam followed by am. There is one am Sam, only one. And how many Sam? 1 2. So 1 by 2, that is 0.5. So this is how we calculate the bigram probabilities using maximum likelihood. This is another example, the Berkeley's restaurant project sentences. It is another sample data set which can be used for this sort of experiments. These are the different example sentences available in this data set, in this corpus. Can you tell me about any good Cantonese restaurants close by? Tell me about Chess Panis. I am looking for a good place to eat breakfast, etc. These are the different statements, some example statements taken from that data set. There are total of 9,222 sentences. And this is the row bigram counts. Bigram count in the sense I followed by I. There are 5 number of times. I followed by want 827 times. Want followed by 2 608 times. I followed by 2 0. Eat followed by Chinese 16. Food followed by food. There are 4 times and so on. Actually, this is a long list, but we have used only very few items in this. So you can have you will be having some 10,000s of words like this, and this is the bigram count. Now normalized by unigrams, you can find the bigram probabilities. Now total number of I is 2533, want is 927, 2 is 2417, eat is 746, and so on. So I want is I followed by want. So it is the probability is calculated as total number of I followed by want is 827 divided by I is 2533. So it is 0.33. Then this one. To eat, for example, to eat. To eat is here. To eat is 686 times. To eat is 686, and 2 is 2417. So it is 0.28, and so on. This is a large value. See, 1 to 2, 1 2. So it is 1 2 is sorry 1 2 is 608 times, and want is 927 times. So 608 by 927. So it is 0.66. So this is how you calculate the bigram probabilities in this Berkeley restaurant project sentences. There were 9,222 sentences. Out of this, these are the bigram counts, and these are the bigram probabilities calculated. Here you can see that there are so many values for which the probability is 0. Bigram probability is 0, and some of the values for which the probability is almost 0, that is 0.00092, 0.00083, and so on. So these are almost 0. So that also is going to create a problem in our calculations, in our estimation of the sentence probabilities. So for example, let's say this is my sentence. Yes, I want English food slash S. So we'll calculate it as I given S into followed by want followed by English followed by food followed by slashes. So it is probability of I given S into probability of want given I into probability of English given want into probability of food given English into probability of slashes given food. So you take all these probabilities from this table and multiply it together. You will get it as 0.000031. You can see that the probability is very less. So probability of English given want. Sorry. So this is how you calculate the or estimate the probability of a sentence from the bigram probabilities available in the table. So from this bigram probabilities, what sort of knowledge can be acquired? Probability of English given want is 0.011. Probability of Chinese given want is 0.0065. Means that most of the people are looking for Chinese food compared to English food. That sort of an world knowledge can be obtained. Let's say probability of want to spend. Want to spend is some that is probability is 0. What is the meaning of it? Probability of this particular sentence is 0. Want given spent is 0. So that is related to your grammar of the language. So these two words will not come in sequence order. So that sort of knowledge can be obtained. Probability of food 2 is 0. This meaning is that food 2 can be it can be it may not be a grammar mistake. It can be it is 0 means you don't have enough number of sentences in your corpus. So you have not seen a sentence like this: food followed by sorry 2 followed by food, etc. Now let's see what some of the practical issues. So in the previous slide, we have seen that there are so many zeros and so many values which are near to zeros. So in order to avoid underflow, what we use is we do all the calculations in log space. Instead of direct calculations, we'll use in log space. Previously we have been doing multiplications, probability 1 into probability 2 into probability 3 into 4. So it is probability 1 into probability 2 into 3 into 4, etc. Instead of that, what we'll do is we will take the logarithm of it. Log p1 into p2 into p3 into p4 equal to log p1 plus log p2 plus etc. log p4. Also adding is faster than multiplying. So in order to avoid that underflow or this speed issue, we can use the log probabilities and add all the probabilities and get the values. So that's how we calculate the bigram probabilities of words and bigram probabilities of a sentence. Now let's see some of the language modeling toolkits. This is one language modeling toolkit which can be downloaded and used. So SRI language modeling toolkit is building and applying statistical language modeling for speech recognition, tagging, segmentation, machine translation, etc. You can download this and you use in your project or research work. This is another example, Google Ngram release 2006. Here, Google Research has created this word Ngram models, which can be used for your many applications like speech recognition, spelling correction, entity detection, and so many things. It contains at most a few billion words. This is an example for Google Ngram model. This is an example of a 4-gram data in this corpus. Serve as the indicator 120 times. Serve as the individual 234 times. Serve as the industry 607 times. This is how it is stored in the Google Ngram. Uh, it has got large amount of words, so I can use this also in your. This is another example, Google Book Ngrams. You can get this in this website books.google.com ngrams. So now let's see how you evaluate our model. So the evaluation can be of this form: does our model prefer good sentences to bad ones? So let's say whether your model is assigning high probability to real or frequently observed sentences than ungrammatical or rarely observed sentences. So that's the evaluation what we do here. This we do with the help of training and testing. So train the parameters our model with a training set. Always you will be having in your the corpus will be divided into a training set and a testing set. Then using the training set you can train the parameters of the model, and using the testing set you can evaluate the model with unseen data. The test set is unseen data, and that is different from the training set. Evaluation metric tells us how well the model does on the test set. So the evaluation means whether your model is going to select best sentences or high probability sentences. So this is how we do it. We do the model, we train the model with the training data, and we test the data with the test set. Extrinsic evaluation and intrinsic evaluation. Extrinsic evaluation means the evaluation is done by using external tools. That is the best evaluation for comparing models A and B. Put each model in a task like spelling correction, speech recognition, etc. Run the task and get the accuracy for A and B. For example, if it is a spelling corrector, how many misspelled words are corrected properly, that can be analyzed. For if it is a machine translation, then how many sentences are translated properly. So that sort of an evaluation by using an external tool is called extrinsic evaluation, but it's very time consuming, may take days or weeks. Extrinsic evaluation is time consuming, so sometimes we may use intrinsic evaluation also. But intrinsic evaluation is going to perform very bad in case of data where in unseen data. Unless the data looks like just like the training data, you will not get best results. So generally intrinsic evaluation is used in pilot experiments only. So the best language model is the one that predicts the unseen test set, which gives the highest probability. So perplexity is the probability of the test set normalized by the number of words. PPW is square root of nth root of 1 by probability of W1, W2, etc. Wn. So you can apply chain rule here also. product of I equal to 1 to n probability of W1 into Wi given W1 to Wi minus 1. So that is the intrinsic evaluation method. So that's about n-gram language model. We have basically focused on bigram, but it's always very easy to generalize it to trigrams, 4 grams, 5 grams, etc. Thank you.